So my sister is unbelievably stupid. She she was thinking about buying another property. She showed me pictures of it. It's absolutely amazing. She put in an offer. The offer got accepted, and she was going to buy it with her partner and her partner's older son. Her partner does not have any deposit or money to put into the property, so she would basically have to put in 20,000 of her money and 20,000 of his money. And the son will put in 20,000 of his money, and that was going to be a deposit. And she told me that she wasn't going to take out any other mortgages, and it would just be the mortgage for the house, which means if like the housing market collapses and the properties become half of what their value is, which is what I believe is going to happen, she thinks that it's she was just telling me that she's not getting any other mortgages, and it turned out that actually she is getting another mortgage, and she was planning on getting a £160,000 mortgage on her one bedroom, which means that if the housing market halves, and she can't pay the mortgage, because I don't think the rent money is not going to be very expensive, because why would you pay for rent when there's an empty free house like fairly close by? If all the properties in the north start becoming empty, a lot of people might start moving to a free house up north rather than stay down south and have to pay rent. So because of this, I feel like there's going to be a big housing market crash, and I had a big strong word about her about not getting this property, but it turns out, and she put it through, they accepted the offer, things were going through, she got a solicitor, paid a few £100s for that, but it turned out that because her partner had a mortgage on a house on the island, and there was like there was a time where for like 2-3 years people weren't paying the rent, and so he couldn't pay the mortgage, so he had to have like it on a temporary thing, and my sister did pay off this money that should have been paid over the years, so she did pay off that, but they said that there has to be like a 3-year gap after paying that, not 6 months. She only did it 6 months ago, and she said because of this sort of fault in it, he can't be liable for a mortgage because he's not deemed trustworthy enough to pay off a mortgage, so he can't take out a mortgage. So they now no longer have the money. And even though I had a very, very strong word with my sister last week about not going through this, about the housing market crash, that you're going to be crashed and you shouldn't go for it, she was just like, oh, well, I'm not going to take out a mortgage on any other one, so it's just a house. So I was kind of thinking, well, okay, anything she puts into this house, it's going to be gone. The housing market's going to crash, and the mortgage is going to be worth far more than the actual property of the property, and then she's going to be forced to, the banks are going to come in and take it, because she won't be getting rent money from any other property, or she won't be getting rent money from, or as much rent money, so she won't be able to pay it off, and the banks will take it, and she'll just lose anything she puts into it. If she's only put in 60,000, well, 20, 20 and 20 from each person, she'll lose 40, he'll lose 60, and then they'll lose whatever money they've been paying for the rent each month, which they'll probably lose. They probably would have lost about 80,000. I reckon that's, if she would have gone for this deal, she'll probably lose about 60 to 80,000 pounds on it, but that's not that bad. But yeah, she was actually planning on getting £160,000 mortgage on her one bedroom, so that means that she basically would lose all her properties. I've given her a big strong warning about not doing this, and she rang me up today, not to say, oh yes, we're not going to do it. She rang me up today to try and convince me to take out a mortgage so that I can buy the rest of the Birmingham house, or maybe I can go in with her and buy a share of this property that I think she's going to lose. Like, she doesn't even listen to me. Do you know how frustrating that is, to have a really serious conversation about someone, to your sister, about how you shouldn't buy a property because a housing market crashes around the corner and you're going to end up losing everything because you've got all these high mortgages. I had a very strong word with her about not doing that. And not only does she completely ignore me, well, not only did she kind of like laugh and snigger at the thought of this, she actually thought that when her partner couldn't take out the deal, she actually thought to call me up to try and get me to take out a loan so that I can buy a property to buy a share of this property that I think she's going to lose. I mean, how it's just like she just doesn't listen. She doesn't listen to anything that I'm saying, and it's just I I want her to lose all these properties. I generally do, because I don't think people like her should have a huge amount of money. It's not money she's earned. It's money that she just got from a partner who was very rich. And it's just, the house is nice though. It's annoying though, because I don't even want her living in such a nice house. The idea of her living in such a gorgeous house, it's like a, you know, really, really posh, really lovely garden. You know, it's an amazing house. It's got a gym at the back as well. So the idea of her living in this house whilst I'm here, and I don't want her living in such a nice house, but I know that if she did live into that house, it's going to last for 1 year, 2 years, and then when the housing market happens, she's going to lose all the properties. And I don't care if that happens to her. I really don't. In fact, a part of me actually wants that to happen to her, because I think that would be like a good punishment for being so stupid and for thinking that you're smart. You know, if someone thinks that they're intelligent and thinks that whatever decisions they make is just going to work out because they're that intelligent, and you know that you're God, and you know that this person has just completely ignored you and taken no interest in anything that you say, and even when you try and warn them about the housing market crash, they just sort of giggle and then don't give a shit. And then when their deal falls through and you're thinking, oh well, at least she's not going to get into huge amounts of debt, and all she wants to do is call me up to try and convince me to take out a mortgage and help her buy this massive mansion. Like, why would I want to take out a gigantic mortgage so that she can live in a nice big house whilst I just live in Birmingham, which is a shithole? Like, she just doesn't think at all. Like, seriously, I'm living in a shithole, and I would you want to come and live in my house? In fact, this house that she's buying, she's actually going to live with it with her partner's ex-partner, and her 8-year-old and her other kids. So it's going to be a big house. She's going to be paying a huge portion of it because, well, Marco is working, and he has a good job and he can pay off the mortgage, but it's not hugely big. It's not going to be able to pay off, you know, Sophie's 180,000 and his 180,000. So, you know, to do that, and then she's also got the 130 from her 2-bedroom. She's absolutely insane, and it's amazing how she does not know how insane this is. She's just thinking, wow, this is a lovely house, and I know bankers would take advantage of these people because they have got way too much money, and it's a game of Monopoly, and you find idiots like this who just want more, and the thing is though, I don't think it even matters, because I think if the rapture belief comes, and if she starts believing that there is better places, she might be one of the ones that go, and I really don't care, because I don't like her. I don't think she's a nice person. I think she's always just trying to seek better. She's never really happy with what she has, and I don't know, she's got so much more than me. She's had such a much better life than me, and for some reason she thinks that I'm wanting to take out a giant mortgage so that she can live in a nice big house, even though she never did anything to help me. Oh, and it's going to be a nice big house for not only her, but her partner and her partner's ex, and her partner's ex older child, who's also paying a third, but probably the other two as well. You know, it's going to be a house for all of them probably. It's just the ignorance that she just doesn't think, and I can't believe how someone can just completely not think and think that it's a good idea to do something like this. You know, I feel like when the house market crashes, things will be a lot easier afterwards, but ideally you don't want to be having a big mortgage. If the house market crashes and you own the higher share of the lion's share of the house, then that's not going to be that bad. But if the house market crashes and the mortgage is worth more than the property, then the mortgage company is literally just going to take the house off you, because you know, if you can't pay the monthly fee, which you're not going to be able to, and why should you? If you've got a house that's now worth 250,000, but you've got a mortgage that's like 400,000, which is what she'll be in a position where the mortgage is worth a lot more than what the house is worth, and she's going to try and sell, only to find that she can't sell, and even selling means you'd have to sell the other properties, and if you don't have a mortgage, if the mortgage is only on one property, then all you'll do is end up losing the money that you put into that property. But if you've taken out mortgages on other properties to buy that property, then you'll find that you'll lose all the properties. And she thinks lying can get her out of it. Just Anna won't be happy if she knows I'm taking the 160,000 out of. The one bedroom's only worth about 180,000. So I don't know why she would be wanting to take out 160,000, or maybe it's worth a 200 now or something. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure the one bedroom's not worth that much, so I don't know why she's getting 160,000 on a property. She said there'll be 50 left, so she thinks it's worth 210. That's what she thinks. The one bedroom's worth 210. It might be. I don't know. It might be worth 210. But yeah, she's basically selling the property, only not selling it. She's selling it but not selling it. Hence, she still has to pay the huge amounts of service charge and bills and. She's not thinking at all.